Yeah, it seems like I always have a little bit more adrenaline in those situations, and that was the case out there today. I certainly hit my biggest serves and those tiebreakers. I think especially in the second set one, I was going after it with everything I had, and they found their mark too. So helped a lot.
Did you have a little bit of a mental check out there going into the second set after winning that tiebreak?
A little bit. Yeah, that's a good point. I did. I didn't play a great service game at all to start the second set. But at the same time, throughout the course of the second set, I started getting a lot more comfortable out there. I was actually a little uncomfortable at the beginning of the match. I was a little tight. Wasn't seeing the ball well. Wasn't going for my shots. Wasn't moving my feet. And it was similar to my last match as well. And once the second set started to get going, I started to see the ball better, and I started to make more progress on his serve. But at the same time, he got in my opinion, I think he got a little bit looser as well. Started making some more mistakes, and I had chances to pull back even in that second set prior to that 5-4 game too. But I just stayed with it.
Find that when you're finding your rhythm off the ground, forehand, backhand, your serve actually gets bigger?
Yeah, no, it does. I mean, it just gives me confidence, and it's not that I can't, play from the back. I mean, I'm not built like that, but when I am comfortable, I feel like I can, I can stay in those points, and but it's just a matter of getting comfortable on the court. A lot of times when I first take the court, I'm not quite seeing it too well, just for whatever reason, and it takes a little bit. And you're playing a different opponent, and everybody's different and whatnot, so you got to get used to that. And really, throughout this tournament, I think I've played better once the match is 45 an hour long or whatever. So start to see the ball better, and that's that's been the case this week. But I would really like to start off better. I mean, my serve is my serve, but if I could be more comfortable outside of that at the very beginning of the match, I think that would help a lot.
You're talking about the adrenaline really going for your serve there. Over the years, what's that process like? Harnessing that. I'm sure you've gone through that as years have gone on. Harnessing, going for it full out, and yes, still getting those types of results.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, I've been in this situation a lot before in matches that come down to a point here or there, and when I have a shot like my serve on my side, it helps so much, and it gives me some free points, and that's what I had at the end of that second set, and I was able to, even though I was feeling good physically out there as well, so I wasn't tired. The conditions are great. It's not too tough to play out there, not too hot, and it's not humid or whatnot. So I had all my energy going for me, and I knew I just, I know I have those serves in my arsenal, and it's just a matter of me pulling them out, and I went up and went for them.
John, you're back into the top 10 this, and you feel like it's almost a little bit maybe coming later that it might have otherwise if you had those early injuries at Wimbledon and Australia that were big point opportunities. And you've won, I think, like 3 titles over the last 12 months and a couple of finals, so it seems like a little overdue.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I guess I didn't know I got back in the top 10 until they announced that after the match, but. I've gotten back in there with little, with not great results from the slam. So, there are some, I don't look at it too much, but there are some areas with my ranking wise where I can gain a lot of points, and going forward from here, even next week in Miami and Madrid and Rome and French Open, whatnot, stuff like that. So there's a lot of areas where I can keep on climbing, and it's up to me to go after that and try to do it. I mean, I was, I guess in 2012 I got in the top 10. I stayed there for a good bit, but it's hard to stay in there. I mean, everyone wants to get in the top 10, and I fell back, but I've been knocking on the door for quite some time, and it feels good to get back in there.
During your, you had injury earlier this year.
Mm-hmm.
At what point did you start feeling like you would be able to play at this level? When did you start?
The first day I hit a tennis ball here in Indian Wells, actually. So I started practicing and just felt good. I remember, texting my mom and texting some friends and I feel great. body feels good, and feel like I'm hitting the ball well. It just happens like that. Just all of a sudden, sometimes you just start to feel it for whatever reason, and that was the case when I first got out here. Because when I first became healthy enough to start playing again, it was pretty ugly. You have to get all your feeling back, and you got to get the match toughness back, and your body's got to adjust to playing matches and whatnot. But I was able to do that, get some matches under my belt prior to this tournament, which I think was very important, even though I was very rusty. That was very important, and then this all started to come together about a week ago or so.
John, in your post-match interview, you said that even though you're in the top 10, you're not satisfied.
Yeah.
Is it time now to get you satisfied and take the next step?
Well, yeah. I was speaking specifically for this tournament, and I'm going to take the court tomorrow, believing that I can win. I've done it against this guy before on this court right here in this exact same situation 2 years ago, exactly the same. So at the same time, I know it's extremely tough. Novak, I think, seems to have found his form this tournament. He hasn't had his typical Djokovic results prior to this tournament, I guess you could say, but he was very impressive in that first match. But I believe I can win, and it's going to be super tough, but I'm going to have to go out there and play my best.
What is it about your success against him on American hard courts? You
Yeah.
beat him here, but you also beat him in Cincinnati too, just last year.
Yeah, I said on the court. I did an interview on the court. It's he's a better tennis player than me. His results speak for themselves, and I'm definitely not going to argue that. But I think best case scenario for me against him is on a hard court in the United States, and this is now, I think, the fourth time I played him on a hard court in the U.S. Played him in Davis Cup, lost to him once, but on a court like that and conditions like this, it suits me very well, and it's a very good opportunity for me.
Hey John, back on that match from 2 years ago, going into this next one, or do you just have to put that aside and start from scratch?
No, I won't look back into it too much, but it's not only. I've beaten him more than once, and I've taken him. We've had some good matches as well, so we've played a handful of times, and like I said, 2 years ago I took the court believing I could win that match. So it's much of the same here in 2014, but I think I can draw a little bit from that in 2012. But as I said before, it's a good situation for me, and I'd hope to have the crowd on my side like I did 2 years ago, and it helps me so much. It's an advantage for me, I think, to play here at home, but at the same time, it's going to be very tough.
John, you're a singles player that dabbles in doubles.
Yeah.
You obviously did well here across the Bryans for the time. Top two seeds are here, even though we have a lot of the singles players that go. So do you think that the top teams will still be at the top of the singles players, top singles players play more regularly?
That's tough to say. Because I guess the top two seeds are in the finals. For one, I think the Bryan brothers would always be at the top, even if every singles player played. Outside of that, I think if singles guys played more, it'd be a lot tougher for the doubles guys to be ranked 2, 3 as a team or whatnot. But we're never going to see that. This tournament is a perfect tournament for singles guys to play in, given that it's 10 days, and Miami, you have suitable rest. If things don't go well in singles here, you can play doubles and whatnot. But but those doubles guys, they work hard at what they do, and they're really specialists at it. And those guys showed earlier today that they're very good at what they do.
Hey John, being a pro is tough, but it's also a pretty wonderful life, pretty wonderful experience. A general question: what do you like best about being an ATP pro? There's so much to travel. There's always another tournament. The cycles every year. It starts with Australia. What do you like the most?
Well, it's just I'm very fortunate to be in this position, and I think the thing I like the most is competing in matches like I just did out there, in front of thousands of fans, and a lot of them cheering me on. You can't. That's not going to last forever. So I want to do it as long as possible, and there's a shelf life for a tennis player, and I know that, and So for me, I've just try to relish these moments because at a certain point, 10 years from now, I won't be really enjoying moments like this. So I would say that, and, be able to get on a stage like that and have people cheering you on and pulling for you is pretty special.
If there was one experience, one fan experience where the fans really helped you, that you really remember, a marathon match or Davis Cup, what would it be?
I think a good example was when I played Novak here 2 years ago. And as far as Davis Cup goes, I've played my best on the road actually. So, I think when I played Novak here 2 years ago, the place was packed, and I feel like the majority of them were cheering for me. So, match like that, I mean, that's one that I'm not going to forget anytime soon.
John, given the fact that tomorrow's match is on ESPN, you're playing in the States, you're now in the top 10. Does that put a little extra on you? I know every match is big, but it's an American deal. What do you feel about that?
No, I don't feel like there's too much pressure on me at all tomorrow. If you look at it on paper, I'm not expected to win this match tomorrow. So, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to let it rip and believe I can win the match. But most of all, I'm going to enjoy it. I hope the stadium's going to be completely full. Playing against one of the greats, obviously currently, and also I think one of the greatest players of all time. I mean, he's a phenomenal player. It's incredible what he has done throughout his career, and he's only 25 or 26 or whatnot. So it's just a great opportunity for me, and this is why I work hard at what I do, to be able to get to moments like this and to be able to get in this situation and enjoy these moments.
I know you're frequently asked about this, but what's it like carrying the flag? Being the American, is it a responsibility, or do you see pressure?
I don't look at it as a responsibility because I think I was never pegged to be the next number one American, and American tennis isn't at its greatest point right now. But for me, it's fun. I never imagined I could be in this position at all. Never, I didn't dream of actually being a professional tennis player. It's all just it's come to me, and I'm loving every minute of it. But as I said, I wasn't groomed and projected to be some great American tennis champion. But I feel like I'm doing pretty well so far in my career, and I'm very happy with that. And I've done some great things so far, and at the same time, I know I have a lot of good matches and months and years ahead of me.
John, Jose Garras, the USDA, has had some harsh words to speak about the work ethic and I guess complacency of some of the younger American guys. Do you think that's fair at all from what you see?
I think it could be fair. I mean, he knows more than me. I think I maybe know who he might be talking about. I don't practice with those guys too much, so I don't think Jose is gonna make that up. He's a great tennis mind, and so that's what he feels. That's how he feels. So I'll take his word for it. But I think we have some young guys that have a lot of potential coming up. So they maybe, I think if they start to realize that they need to take it a little bit more seriously, then they'll start to see improvements in their game. And I think they're starting to realize that everybody at this level is so good. So.
Right. Just getting back to the point about the top 10.
Uh-huh.
When you said how tough it is to get in there, what was tougher for you, getting there the first time or getting back there the next time?
I think staying in the top 10 was the toughest part for me. As you guys know, I always play my best in the United States, and a lot of times, especially in Europe, I haven't had great results at all. Go over there and just kind of peter out a little bit and not do too well. So I'm lucky to be able to play in big tournaments in the States because that's when I play my best. But the reason why I think I fell out of the top 10 is because I went over to Europe to play these big tournaments and great opportunities and didn't do so well. So staying in there is very tough for me. I'm always going to play my best in the U.S. It's just where I'm most comfortable, but I need to get better outside of the U.S. And I've done that. I won a tournament in New Zealand this year, but I think specifically Europe, I need to get better. And clay as a surface, I think, is actually very good for me too. So There's no reason, in my opinion, that I can't make a semifinals of a Madrid or Rome or whatever, but I haven't even been close to that.
How do you think you can upgrade your performance in your
Just trying to try to stay within myself and try not get too frustrated out there sometimes, and I get situations maybe get a little tough on the court and things aren't going my way. I'm not as tough as I really need to be. In situations in the U.S., I sort of show that toughness. So maybe just get tougher and but if things don't go well at tournament, practice harder, be a lot more professional. Like I said, there's no reason I can't I can't have a result like this outside of U.S.
John, just following up on my earlier question.
Mm-hmm.
I think you said sort of hint like which guys Jose might be referring to.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever thought about taking those guys aside and talking to them about it yourself? Do you think there are things that...
No. I mean, I don't. Like I said, I don't practice with those guys. And really, I don't think it's my responsibility either. So I just honestly, I worry about myself, and that's it. And selfishly, but we're in an individual sport, and I focus on myself and only myself, and that's what it comes down to.
John, when you got to the top 10, one thing Jim Courier had said last year was one of the things about being a top 10 player and getting to the top 5 is being really ruthless in terms of managing your schedule.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the things that he wanted you to work on. What does that really mean to you, and how do you feel about Steve Smith?
Okay, good question. No, he's right. You don't want to overextend yourself. You want to be fresh for events like this, which I feel like I was coming into this week. And but my schedule going forward is, I'm going to have prior to going to Europe and playing on the clay, I'm going to have a 2.5-3 week sort of rest / training period to get ready. So really for me, you want to try to peak at these tournaments, and I think I'm going forward this year, my schedule is set up that way. I don't think I'm going to be too tired entering too many events. So I'm trying to, I know also at my age I can't play as many events, in a row like I could maybe 4 or 5 years ago. So, I do need to be more selective, and maybe more selective about not playing doubles and whatnot, and just solely focus on singles. So, but Jim's completely right. I mean, he lived it, and he knew that scheduling is so important for anyone that's inside the top 10, and he was obviously number 1 in the world, so he did it so well, and he's a great guy that I always try to get a lot of information from, because I think he cares about me, and he wants to see me succeed, and he's lived it himself. So, it's important for me to go into tournaments fresh and not go into any tournaments at a deficit.
Layton, last question.
They just have this college tournament this week.
Mm-hmm.
There's 4 men's college teams.
Mm-hmm.
Can you kind of give your thoughts about what that opportunity be like, especially since you played in college, and what that would have been like playing during the middle of a big pro tournament?
Yeah, I think that's cool. I don't think I ever played a college match in the middle of a pro tournament. So I think the teams here are also very good teams too. So I'm sure there's a lot of good players, and I'm sure a lot of these players have pro aspirations as well. So getting them maybe just a little bit immersed in a situation like this is only good for them, and maybe have those guys see what it's like at this level. It's a lot of fun. We're at the top of the tennis level right here. You're playing in a big stadium and whatnot. It doesn't get any better than this in the tennis world, really. So it's good for good for college and future pro players to see, in my opinion.
All right, thanks, John.
Yeah.